dialogue that brings you back to that movie. Danny McBride and Zach Galifianakis are so popular right now. I was wondering if you specifically chose them because of something you liked, or...
Sure. Well, Danny McBride, who played the brother-in-law, who is now most known for movies like Land of the Lost, I originally found it a film called All the Real Girls, which if you haven't seen, you have to see. It's a wonderful film. It's David Gordon Green's second film. Danny McBride was originally a directing student with David Gordon Green at School of the Arts in North Carolina. And in All the Real Girls, he's wonderfully subtle. He's a great actor, and that's why I fell in love with him. And he's since then become kind of a broad comedy actor, so I wanted to return and kind of do something real with him. Zach Galifianakis, again, big fan of. When I cast Zach Galifianakis, The Hangover had not come out yet. He was supposed to be kind of an unknown guy getting fired in this movie. The Hangover came out, and now it's heartbreaking because the movie opens and everyone sees him and they're waiting to laugh. And I watch the audience and they're like, and it's just like, it's not going to be funny. You shouldn't try. But I'm just big fans of them both as actors. And yeah, that last one up there. Yeah.
When I saw that Sam Elliott was in the building, he was going to be casting his film all through the movie. I kept waiting for Sam Elliott. How did you get him to do just a cameo practically?
Yeah. Well, Sam Elliott was in my first movie, Thank You for Smoking, where he played the Marlboro Man, actually, and it's really funny because as much as I thought he looked like the Marlboro Man, it doesn't even hold a candle to his resemblance to Sully, which is so funny considering this film. Everyone now thinks that I cast him because of that. I had a relationship with him going back to Thank You for Smoking, and I begged him to do this part. I remember he did read it. He goes, "This is less than a page," and I said, "Sam, you're the Wizard of Oz in this film." And he came out. He was very gracious. Came out. We shot the scene in a few hours and sent him back home. But no, he's a mensch. Little trivia note: when Sam Elliott and George Clooney are sitting next to each other, it is the voice of Coors sitting next to the voice of Budweiser. So there you go. Hey, thank you so much for coming out tonight. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you all later. Yeah, I mean,
we didn't go to film school.
Yeah, I was an English major, so they didn't teach me shit about filmmaking. Yeah, exactly down the set. On the set, you're just doing. The set's a hurricane. You learn while you're cutting. That's where you make a movie and editing. And it's while you're cutting it together that you suddenly realize, oh, I screwed up. I should have done this. Or I need this and I don't have it. Or I way over-directed the actors and they're all performing like actors instead of real people here. And you realize what you're missing, and next time you do it better.
Hey, let me just see if any of us need to write a damn thing about that. So what do we call that? What do we call it? What? The gap. That's the gap.
What's the gap?
Did you ever see the beginning? Oh, you've seen the Aviator, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I started every class I teach by showing the first 15 minutes of the Aviator. And the reason I do it is you got Howard Hughes, this genius man. He's trying to make this film, this war epic about the Hell's Angels, right? But I don't know, is that World War I or World War II? I should know that. He's putting up fighter pilots and stuff, right?
It's Vietnam.
So anyway, he's trying to make this film. He's got a vision for it, right? He wants to make this scene with the planes flying around and stuff. And the film opens up and with all these planes, and he's walking around, and all these guys are saying, "We can't do this, we can't put a camera on this thing; it'll fall off." And he's like, "Oh, we'll just put the rivets in the gyroscope, and it'll be okay." And then some other guy comes up and says, "We don't have enough cameras, Howard." And he's like, "Well, don't worry about it. I'll talk to Louis B. Mayer." And then another guy comes up and says, "We're running out of money." He's like, "I got money to burn," or whatever. So he's like, "Go and get this movie," right? And so then they go up and they shoot all this stuff, and then they go to screen the dailies. And they're screening these dailies, and he walks up to the screen, right? And he walks up and he looks at them, right? And they look like model airplanes. They're just kind of like floating there. And he's so frustrated about it. And he looks and he says, this isn't what it was to be up there. That's not what it felt like to be up there, right? And you can see he was vexed. And I always describe that as the gap. that is this abyss between the perfect movie that is in his head, and I believe all of your all's head, and what you're able to get up on that screen.
Right.
And what's genius about Howard Hughes is that, according to this, probably just Scorsese making mythology about Howard Hughes, but I also think it's Scorsese's sort of poem to the frustrations of trying to bridge the gap, trying to express yourself in film. What does Howard Hughes realize? He's like, it didn't feel like that would be a bad film. What was it?
Clouds.
And what do clouds create? What?
Movement.
Where are my students?
Relative motion.
Relative motion. And relative motion creates a sense of speed. And now you have film language. That's the gap. That's where it's like, I want to express it, but do I have a mastery of the medium to be able to make them feel the speed of the Hell's Angels?
Right. But that's kind of my point. It's just, you do it, you fuck up, and then you figure it out.
And you spend a lot of money waiting for clouds to show up.
Right. Or you realize, you know, maybe I don't need a, you know, an air battle. Maybe.
What was an instance that you had can think of one where you were like, man, I didn't get it? And
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I need two volunteers. Okay, you guys right here? Come on stage. See, fucking like, you know, I'm like, all right. So I need a third person to carry this. No. No, here I got it. Here, come over this way. Turn away from me, face that wall. All right, and come over here, stand right up. All right, so in Thank You for Smoking, there's a scene where Aaron Eckhart and Cameron Bright are walking and Santa Monica Pier, and they're talking. They're eating ice cream, and they're talking about the nature of argument. And I remember I boarded it, and I shot them both like this, and I shot Cameron on the far side, shot Aaron here. Now that makes sense, and that's how I boarded it, and I was cut between. And it was only once I got to editing, I was like, oh shit. The editing will just be like,
Where were your two angles? You had a
they
shot.
were both looking the same way. Because the correct way to shoot it is you have one camera here, and it's an over to him, and you have another camera here, and it's an over to him. And
Anybody know what rule he violated? I haven't actually addressed that in class yet. Actually, no. It's not 180.
it's the line.
The what? The 30-degree rule. Okay, I guess Switzer taught you something there last year. Oh, well, somehow you learned it. No, the rule, just real quick.
Thanks.
The rule.
Have a hand to these. I caught you anything today.
So you can't cut from one shot to another shot unless that camera, the second camera, is far enough away from the first shot.
Right. Now, the only guy who I've seen make this work recently is Scorsese, and Thelma Schoenmaker, his editor, who's a genius. In the movie Departed, I swear to Jesus, there's 3 shots in a row that is a close-up of Matt Damon to a close-up of Matt Damon to a close-up of Matt Damon. It's the wackiest shit I've ever seen in my life. You're watching it and like, what? Come on. It's after the first two that you think, well, they couldn't possibly come to another close-up. Oh my God, they did. It's messed up.
Well, was it distracting or did it work?
For me, it's distracting, but then I was like, oh, you guys.
Well, that's Scorsese, right? He's like the bravura. Like you were saying that you're a filmmaker who likes his style to receive.
Oh yeah, no, he's like, I'm right here, Martin Scorsese. Hello. That's what his films do.
Right, and then there's some guys who say, hey, I'm Joe Schmo and what's up, right? And it's like, it's very irritating. But why does that work for Scorsese and not for Michael Bay?
No, Michael Bay.